What's going on, guys? This is Real Deal Fantasy HQ with your boy LQ back in for another great episode. In today's episode, we are talking about potential league winners. I like to say potential because the three guys that I have, one of the guys are kind of having me on the fence, but I do believe if he gives us all 16 games, he'll be on a lot of championship teams. And I don't want you guys to be victims of losing to these three guys in the championship because I believe they're going to be there. So I don't want to waste any more time. So let's get right into the episode. So I got three guys that are going to be on championship teams. I want to say potential, league winners or whatever the case may be. But I got three guys: Josh Allen, Jonathan Taylor, and Derrius Guice.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Look, listen, I know you're probably thinking Derrius Guice is not going to finish the season completely because he's going to have injuries. Yeah, I know that, but I feel like we can get 16 games out of him. I'm a firm believer of giving a guy a second chance, but after you burn me after the second chance, you're out of there. You know what I mean? But I definitely believe Josh Allen and Jonathan Taylor are full sends 110%. They're going to be on a lot of championship teams. So let me get into Josh Allen right now. Josh Allen's going to be on a lot of championship teams. For one, they're getting Stephon Diggs, people. That makes him better in his craft. It gets him better in efficiency, completion rate, accuracy. Hopefully, if he goes downfield and Diggs is like wide open, hopefully he can hit him. But I definitely believe there's no other equation for, Josh Allen not to be better. There's a lot of hate for Josh Allen right now or dumbing him down to a QB2. He's not that good. He's not that efficient. He's not that accurate. All mainstream narratives, people. Josh Allen's going to be a top 10 quarterback. You know what I mean? He's going to finish as a QB1. I don't like the hate that people are giving him because he's a dual threat. The dude has more rushing attempts than most of these fucking running backs that are in the league in the red zone. You know what I mean? Le'Veon Bell is one of the guys that I mentioned on my Twitter before. He has more rushing attempts in the red zone than most running backs that you would think will have more rushing red zone attempts. But I can't remember right now. But Le'Veon Bell is definitely one of the ones that I would believe. But it was just crazy to me. I think it was more than Nick Chubb. It was more than James Conner, Kenyon Drake. All those guys, he had more rushing attempts in the red zone than, and he was only four less rushing attempts in the red zone than Lamar Jackson. But he has more rushing touchdowns than Lamar Jackson. So therefore, how are we going to dumb him down to QB2 when you have a quarterback who can use his wheels? You know what I mean? He's like one of the only white quarterbacks who uses their feet for good. You know what I mean? If I can get 500, rushing yards out of him, plus a couple of touchdowns, 20 touchdowns, but he has like 9, 10 maybe rushing touchdowns, I'm taking that all day, people. That's a full send. There's no other argument there for me to not want Josh Allen on my team. And I hate for you guys to be a victim to losing to Josh Allen on the squad, in the championship to a guy who were a firm believer of Josh Allen, who wasn't probably even a believer. Let's just say one of his QB1s catch COVID, and then Josh Allen is next up, you know what I mean? And he kills you in the playoffs, and he kills you in the championship. Don't be a victim, people. Josh Allen is a full send. He is a stud. Don't let nobody else tell you anything different. Now to jump into Jonathan Taylor. He is going into a stellar offensive line, the third best of last year. I know Mac is there, but Jonathan Taylor is giving me Derrick Henry vibes, where you need to be patient. He's going in the 4th round right now. I think that's fairly cheap. That's when we were getting a couple of years back. These last couple of years, we're getting Derrick Henry in the 3rd or 4th round. Reason why he's giving me Derrick Henry vibes is because Marlon Mack is still there. Marlon Mack is going to become the pest. He's going to be the pest. I'm not going to say become. He is the pest, people. He's going to slow down, the greatness, the development of Jonathan Taylor to be game ready, NFL ready. You cannot knock or even ignore the kid putting up 6,000 yards in his college years. Obviously, the Colts knew this was a special talent that they could not pass up on. Jonathan Taylor is the future. So for you dynasty fans or you dynasty owners or whatever the case may be, you guys are set up for success. I would not be surprised if we see Jonathan Taylor, if he blows up, if he gives RB1 vibes, all through the season or whatever, and Mac is injured, he hasn't given us a single season where he's been 100% healthy. So I know he's going to miss games. So that's where Jonathan Taylor comes in, to where he could flash or even show that he can handle that NFL RB1 workload, which I know he can. This is not even a question. But I feel like for you dynasty owners, it's a full send on Jonathan Taylor moving on to 2021. And also Nyheim Hines, that we might actually get a little flash or whatever, he showcased some of his talent, because we've seen it. We know what Nyheim Hines can do. So 2021, I definitely want to be a Nyheim Hines owner. So the only thing with Mac, he's just going to slow down Jonathan Taylor. So please be patient. Don't give up in the first quarter of the season and you end up trading him and then he blows up week 10 or you know what I mean, and kills it all the way through the playoffs, all the way in the championships. Now you're looking like a dumbass with the egg on his face. Like, why did I trade Jonathan Taylor? Because Mac was being a pest. Just be patient, people. That's all I'm preaching about Jonathan Taylor. Patience. He's giving me Derrick Henry vibes. So please best and believe that they're going to try to get this kid involved. They're going to try to get him to be the RB1 of that offense. And I know Phillip Rivers is going into a comfortable situation with the third best offensive line. I will say Mac is good. Okay, he doesn't suck. Nyheim Hines is also a great addition. He could become the Walmart or Kmart version of Austin Eckler, where Rivers can dump off to him, which I'm okay to have and okay to be an owner of. You know what I mean? I'm full send there. I'm getting a call while I'm doing the video right now. I'm not going to answer. But anyway, Jonathan Taylor is going to show up on a lot of championship teams. Please go and get him in the 4th round. He's cheap right now. Not going to say that's where his ADP is going to live and breathe, being that we're in the middle of July. Once we get closer to all the, redrafts, all the other drafts are going to happen in August or towards the end of August. Once we find out and get a grasp on what we're having a season, preseason, training camp, etc., OTAs or whatever. Once we get a grasp and knowledge that it's a full send for the NFL season, I definitely see Jonathan Taylor's ADP rise and skyrocketing. So if you're drafting now or in the next coming weeks, go get him in the 4th round, please. Just be patient with him. Do not trade him in the first half or the first quarter of the season. Now to jump into Derrius Guice. I know you guys are preaching and following the narrative that he's going to be hurt. He's not going to give us all 16 games. But what if he gives us all 16 games? I'm not going to take, practice video or training camp videos of Derrius Guice working out into consideration and blow them up like everybody else does to adjust their rankings. I'm not that type of guy. I'm not going to preach that, but I just have a feeling that Derrius Guice has been working harder and trying to stay healthy, build his body, take care of his body, as much as he can to give us all 16 games. You know what I mean? So I'm a firm believer of giving second chances. I took him in the 6th round last year and I got burned. But if I can get Guice in the 7th or 8th round, he's most likely going to be on my bench or my flex. So I'm not going to take that much of a blow or be that pissed off if he burns me, if he gets hurt or whatever the case may be, if he's on my bench. But if he explodes and gives us all 16 games, he's going to be on a lot of championship teams, being that he's an explosive talent. We've seen the highlight tapes in college at LSU or whatever. We've seen the little flashes that he's given us last season when he was healthy. So I definitely believe we can get that week in and week out if he stays healthy. You know what I mean? So if I can get him in those later rounds, then yeah, it's a full send. If he's in my RB3, RB4, my flex or whatever, league format you guys got, I definitely want shares. I definitely want all smoke with Derrius Guice. He's a talented running back. We cannot deny that about him. The only thing that's holding him back is definitely the injury. And I understand that. I understand you're worried, but think about it. If you can get him in the 7th or 8th round, you got your 2 stud running backs already set up. You got your RB1, your RB2, already set up. You're already set there. So there's really no worries there. So if he's my RB3, RB4, I don't care if he burns me on the bench because he's not in my starting lineup week to week. I don't have to be forced or have to think about if I need to start Guice. He's not a start and forget. So I don't really feel that bad if he burns me, if he's injured, being that I got him in the 8th, 9th, 7th, or whatever round, you know what I mean? So I'm not that much off the radar of Derrius Guice. All I'm saying is that just give chance, give praise to his talent that we know he has, but don't go reaching, don't go, in the mid rounds or the higher early rounds to go get guys. That's not what I'm saying at all, but he should be rostered. He's not on a do not draft list. He should be given a chance because we know the talent that he has. So that's all I could really preach about Derrius Guice. He has a new head coach, Ron Rivera's there. I'm not taking any of that Washington, the name change, the sexual abuse, anything into consideration to really affect the affect the players, in their production or whatever the case may be. So I don't really think that's much of a distraction to the players much because I really don't think they give a fuck. They don't care. Whatever's happening in the head office, they ain't got nothing to do with them. Whatever's happening about the name, that has nothing to do with them. They're there to play football. They got to check. I don't care if you changed to the Washington Dickheads and you're fucking paying me like fucking millions of dollars to play for you guys. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to play, right? That I can pretty much think that's what the mindset is of all these other players that are playing for the Washington, football team. So I definitely think, again, give guys a shot. Don't put him off your radar because of the mainstream narrative that they want you to avoid him at all costs because you're going to miss out and then you're going to see him in the championship and then you're going to lose. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I hope you guys got some information that you guys can take back and take into draft day. So I want you guys to like and subscribe for me. Definitely share the video. Show me some love. Let me know that I'm doing my job, that I'm doing it well. And I definitely want to see you guys next week for another great episode of Real Deal Fantasy HQ with your boy LQ. Peace.